I've made some significant progress since the last video. I've completely reworked how the enemies work, and I've also changed a lot of the player script. And these are just two of the things I've added to the game. I want to begin with how the enemies have changed. I decided to start back at square one and add something that would just make things just easier. Something I should have done in the first place, but was actually too lazy to do. And this was raycasting. If you don't know what raycasting is, neither do I. But I'll try to explain it with my goblin brain. So basically, if you want to send out a little signal or ray that can be sent back, this can be used for many different tasks, and I used it so that the enemies could see the player and tell the code, or tell me that it can see the enemy. The enemies will shoot at the player once the enemy's raycast can see the player. With the genius technology of raycasting, it solves all my problems of how I wanted enemies to work with the levels. Once the enemies worked more how I liked it, I added just a little thing. Just a tiny little thing. I added a boom barrel. Ever just want to blow up enemies, or just yourself? Shoot this red guy and boom. You'll blow up. Now I wanted to add some more buildings to the level. Something that has more interaction. This led to me making a building. But not just any building, this one has balconies. Now I don't want to drag this out and bore you with my long explanations of how stuff works, just know the balcony has raycasts that it sends out to the player. Once it sees the player, it sets off a timer. Once the timer ends, it spawns a baddie. I tried to spawn the original enemies. The only problem is these baddies, since they shoot with an offset, wouldn't pose much of a large threat against the player. With this epiphany, I decided to create a new enemy that was a little more threatening. I would like it to introduce the sharpshooter. This guy has 2 hit points, shoots very quickly, and has great accuracy. Their bullets don't bounce though, and get destroyed on impact. While there was some trouble making them flip with the player and make the gun also flip with the player, and also not flipping the correct 180 degrees when flipping back and forth, it's a little confusing, don't worry, it just took me days to work with and fix. I don't know how it works, but it just works.
It just works.
Now that I had set up spawning for the sharpshooters, I had noticed it was hard to tell if the player was getting hit or if objects or buildings in the level were being hit. This resulted in me adding some particle effects that appear once the bullet bounces. Bada bing, bada boom, sparks. After all this, I made one more building with doors that open. Hey, want some mobility? Want to jump? Too bad I'd never added jumping into a game before and didn't know how to, and now the player can fly. Because of how the physics work with player movement and also the bouncy bullets, this means that jumping was broken, and the movement was also broken. Also the bullets were broken. Just assume everything was broken. Have I told you I'm a professional game designer? Have I also told you I'm a compulsive liar? After a couple hours of fiddling with code and doing some hardcore Google searching, I managed to get the player jump and movement to feel comfortable. It'll probably be reworked in the future once I get some people to play it and get some feedback. Also, I added crouching. Okay, then I made real crouching, which resulted in having to rework the player's collider, which was fun. Also, I added some screens and stuff, like this shoddy title screen. And this pause screen. Also a death screen for people who are bad at my game. I don't need it though, I just added it for losers. Finally I added some pickups for the player, these pickups being health and ammo. Then I added clips to allow the player to be able to reload multiple times. When the player runs into an ammo crate, their clips and ammo will be fully reloaded. The health is in barrels. When shot, it will drop the health pickups. And that's about it for now. I want to make the level longer and add a boss. After that I'm going to send out a playable version for people to play and get some feedback on my itch.io. So look forward to that, and thanks for watching.